You're listening to the Fan Club Podcast, where two polar opposites discover each other's fandoms for the very first time. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 7 of the Fan Club Podcast. We are joined by a special guest. This is Matthew's sister, Meagan. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Meagan, Matthew's sister, as I was introduced.
What is your relationship to Marvel? Is it different than Matthew's?
Yeah, it's more so just the movies aspect and the entertainment.
You're not as well versed on the comic side of things that Matthew is.
No, yeah, not at all. Not my area of expertise.
But you guys did grow up in the same household, so, you guys both grew up around the films. Your mom is a big fan of the films as well. So, you both grew up seeing them in theaters, and so you kind of grew up in a household that consumed this kind of content. You just don't have the comic background that Matthew has. All right, so we are covering Iron Man 3 today, and you established that Iron Man was probably your favorite out of all of them, correct?
Yes, yeah.
You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Tony Stark has always just been so interesting because it's the concept of, he's just like a guy, but he's still able to help people. It's like the average Joe can,
he's the Marvel Batman.
He's the Marvel Batman. That is true.
Yeah, basically.
I feel like he's a little bit more personable than Batman, though.
More personable, but a lot more narcissistic.
Yeah, not so mysterious either.
I don't see Batman cracking jokes.
Yeah, no.
No.
Batman's very serious.
Yeah.
From my knowledge, obviously, the whole concept of this podcast is I have no knowledge of any of this stuff, but from my very limited knowledge, I don't see Batman doing this.
No. I mean, Batman helps people, but it's, not in the same way.
He's more vigilante than anything.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 was released in 2013 and directed by Shane Black, which one of the weirdest fun facts I found about Shane Black specifically is that all of his films take place around Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Matthew and I have already had a debate of whether or not this is a Christmas movie.
I say no, but
it's debatable. I mean, people think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, so...
Because that takes place on Christmas Day, though.
And?
Iron Man doesn't.
It takes place surrounding Christmas.
True. But I think it's the only Marvel movie that actually is around Christmas.
Yeah, I can't really think of any other movies. I mean, I know the Hawkeye show, way down the road.
Well, that just came out.
That is placed around, Christmas time, too, but...
Okay. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, yeah. But that's the only one I can think of that's surrounded around, a holiday.
Did you see this movie when it first came out?
I did not, actually.
Oh, no.
I actually didn't really get into, the Marvel movies more so until, later on in the series.
I thought you were with us when we saw it in Florida.
You were still in high school.
Yeah, I know. I was I hadn't graduated
yet.
You're
a couple years younger than us.
You were, a junior?
Yeah, I graduated in 2014, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so you were a year below me, then.
I think he said in an article or something that he liked making movies around Christmas. Even though they weren't about Christmas.
Explicitly Christmas movies.
Yeah, he just likes making a movie during the Christmas season.
I guess it makes for good set dressing or background music, I guess.
Probably.
This movie was the top grossing movie in 2013, Iron Man 3, which doesn't surprise me because it was the heyday of the Avengers and of MCU, really. Not that we're not in a heyday now, but it's never really gone away. But yeah, we can get into the movie a little bit. It starts off with a narration by Tony, and he the song "I'm Blue" is playing, which is the weirdest use of that song in a movie.
Don't forget, the first real scene
is a flashback.
Is 99.
And we later figure out that he's telling this whole story to Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
That we don't find out about this until the end credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting framing device.
Yeah. So, originally the end credit scene was going to be Tony Stark talking with the Guardians of the Galaxy in space. Robert Downey Jr. didn't know if they were going to make any more Marvel movies at that time, or if Tony Stark was going to be in them. He easily thought he was done after blowing up the suits.
Yeah, but he could always make more.
True. But he also got rid of the arc reactor. That was in
This
him.
is true.
So he didn't know what else to do.
But yeah, we flash back to 1999 Switzerland. I immediately clocked this stalker mullet guy, is what I call him in my notes, as the villain.
But this is also the...
Yeah.
If you remember in Iron Man 1, this is where he met the other dude in the cave for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or they talked. Robert Downey Jr. didn't remember him.
Tony Stark, you mean?
Tony Stark, yeah. Tony Stark didn't remember him, but they talked at this event.
I don't know. He just gave me, like...
Creep vibes?
He gave me villain vibes. Like, he gave me... It
Yeah.
reminded me of The Incredibles, the first Incredibles movie, where, like, Syndrome as a kid gets rejected and, like, has this vendetta against Mr. Incredible for the rest of his life. That's the vibe that it gave me. I know that's a really specific reference, but...
That's most
Yeah,
of
it was like we
Iron
were
Man
literally
films.
watching like his villain origin story. We're like, oh, okay, this is what
Also-
it's gonna be.
It was 99 and the man had a mullet. I mean, he just, like, reeked villain energy.
He reached Criminal Minds energy.
We've been watching too much Criminal Minds. That's what's on your brain. We go to, like, the apartment with... What's her name? Maya?
Maya.
I have a really
Or
hard
no,
time retaining
not,
character
apartment,
names.
hotel.
Yeah, the hotel room, and they basically have this shot of the plant that she's cultivating regrowing.
That Happy tore a leaf off, and it grew back, and it blew up.
Yeah, which is like a foreshadowing to the rest of the movie.
And there was a Y2K reference. Do you know what?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. None of us were old enough to remember that.
Yeah, I was like, the what reference?
The Y2K was when
They thought all the computers were going to...
take over.
Oh, yeah, in 2000.
Yeah.
No, I was just
Because it was the start of the new millennium.
4 years old, living my best life.
We were 4.
We were 6.
This was 1999.
So 5. This was Christmas of
I was born
95.
at the end of 1994, dear. Or towards the end.
So you still would have been 5. Because it was Christmas of 99. It was it was the start of 2000.
Okay. We've established Sarah can't do math.
But the movie originally was also going to be 3 hours and 15 minutes long, which is, I think, longer than Endgame and Infinity War.
I have heard that those movies are so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I just don't know how they could have made this movie that long. Like,
There was a
I
lot
feel like
more...
this movie was pretty cut and dry.
It was a lot more of scenes with the little kid.
See, I like their relationship.
There was a
I
lot
thought it was
more.
sweet.
There was a lot more with that. There was a lot more with Extremis, and there was a lot more with Tony. You saw him build more of the suits.
But while we're on the topic of the kid, though, what's his name? Harley?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Harley.
I think.
I
Yeah, that's
love
his name.
them.
Wasn't Marvel going to be, like, making either, like, a movie or a show about him?
No, so
Like, when he's older?
So the rumor at that time was he was going to take over Iron Man.
That would have been cool.
Because originally, Robert Downey Jr. didn't know if his role was still doable or not. Because at this time, they didn't have Age of Ultron. They didn't have... Because this is the last Iron Man standalone. The rest of the times we see him is in collab movies.
Gotcha.
And so
yeah.
he didn't play Iron Man until... What?
So the
Age of
rumor was that
Ultron?
Tony was going to retire and then Harley was going to take over.
That Tony was going to die. And Harley take over.
I actually would have loved that. That would have been a really cool...
Which...
I feel like they still could do it.
I feel like they
wanted
could do...
to.
So when we're recording this, Miss Marvel literally just came out today.
Yeah.
I feel like they could... Obviously, I haven't seen it. We haven't gotten there.
So...
But I think...
Yeah, we haven't either, but...
I kind of know what they're going to do, but it is a spoiler if I talk about it to you.
I feel like it
Oh,
could be
okay.
really cool to do a Disney Plus series a la Miss Marvel with Harley. I think that would be kind of cool.
The next Iron Man is rumored to be...
Oh, Iron Man 4?
No. The I Live You 3000 kid.
Oh, Oh, his daughter? Morgan, right? That's...
I was trying to avoid that.
Oh, sorry.
That means nothing to me. I don't...
It's rumored that, because they're...
It means Potts didn't die. Spoiler.
Yes,
but that was this movie, so...
Well, okay,
No,
so I'm
but-
putting 2 and 2 together, but we will not elaborate.
No, but it's rumored because in the comics she also turns into Iron Man in some of the newer series.
We'll get to Pepper. We will get to Pepper.
She is much better in this movie.
I will say, yeah. I know that I have aired my grievances about Pepper Potts. I don't know. I enjoyed her in this movie. That's all I'll say for now. I will. We flash back to present day, and Tony Stark is like tinkering in his workshop, whatever, and the robot has a dunce cap, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I love that freaking robot, and I was so sad to see it get destroyed.
Yeah.
We love the robot.
I love the robot's like his little like dog. It's like a dog. It's like a little
Yeah,
pet.
and it's also interesting, too, how much, like, personality he's able to give Jarvis. Like, it's just, like, high technology. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I am aware that Jarvis becomes a person.
I wasn't going to say it, but no, it's just, like, like, you can see, like, the development of Jarvis, like, throughout, like, the movies. And how, like, his technology is developing. And
Because you know Jarvis was a real person, right?
Was he?
Yeah.
It was his butler.
It was his dad's butler.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
So do you remember in Infinity War when they went back in time to S.H.I.E.L.D., the dude that Howard was talking to was the butler.
Oh.
That Jarvis is based off of.
Didn't know that.
On the topic of Jarvis, did you know that in the background in their living room they have a stocking for him?
Oh, that's cute.
I just thought that was really sweet. I was like, he's kind of a third member of their family. I thought.
Yeah, he gets like his own like spot on the couch, and
I have a note that says this Aldrich guy, the villain, the smarmy. What did I call him? The stalker mullet guy.
Yeah.
The Aldrich guy is so smarmy. Like he goes to Pepper's office and he's like showing her the human brain and like, yeah, the hologram thing is cool, but he creeps me out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can we note, too, that, like, when he showed up, he hadn't, like, talked to Pepper yet, but Pepper was just under the assumption that, like, he was there just to ask her out on a date. I was like, no, he's probably there for business, too. Like, he didn't just come out of the woodworks after years just to be like, hey, Pepper, want to go out?
Yeah, that is,
like,
it's just gross. But, this scene also is, so we learned that Happy has basically taken up the head of security.
Because he was laughed at too much saying that he was Tony Stark's bodyguard.
Yeah. But he's also kind of a drill sergeant.
Really
but it was
funny.
really funny watching Happy try to, like, FaceTime with Tony. He's, like, has the phone, like, all, like, real close to his face. He's like, I don't know how to flip the screen. I was like, major parent vibes.
No, that literally is how my dad FaceTimes. My parents will never listen to this. It's fine. I have a note that says his chemistry with Gwyneth is even more awkward. I'm assuming I'm meaning Tony.
Yes.
Because I think that Robert Downey Jr.'s and Gwyneth Paltrow's like chemistry in this movie feels very forced. I don't know if I'm alone in that.
It gets better.
Like in the other movies, it felt very genuine.
Yeah.
And in this one, it kind of seems like they were like going through something and they just had to fake it.
Yeah.
Well, like, you can see throughout, like, the whole movie, too, like, Tony is obviously having some sort of, like,
he's having
PTSD reaction to, like, the events that happened in the Avengers movie.
Truthfully, I loved that aspect of things because really...
It made him look more or make him feel more real.
Exactly, because up until this point, Tony has been very much this, for lack of a better word, bulletproof kind of mentality where he's super narcissistic and he's super like he deflects everything with jokes and he has this whole arc in the Avengers where Captain America calls him out for not putting his life on the line, and then he does that and he suffers all this PTSD, and frankly I think it's like very real.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, he did go to the opposite side of space where other
For me, that's not necessarily what it is.
I mean, it was also seeing all of the aliens, and he knows what's out there now. Before, it was
But also
literally...
he witnessed thousands of people get killed.
Yeah. Because before...
Yeah, and a part of it, too, I think, is, like, his curiosity. He's like, okay, I know all these aliens are out here, but, like, why? And, he wants to explore it, essentially, but he doesn't even know, like, where to begin.
Yeah, he doesn't know how, because he can't make a suit that goes to that side of space to where everyone is.
Yeah.
I mean, he technically did die.
I just thought his response in this movie to the events in the Avengers is very realistic as far as how an actual human being would respond to the trauma that he just went through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be interesting I don't know if we get to see the others' reactions to all of that, but it would be interesting to see their mental state.
You see a little bit. I mean, no one else really has the horror, because no one else saw the amount of ships that were coming towards Earth like Tony did.
Yeah.
Because there was only, 2 of the giant ship carriers that came through New York, while in space there was 15 more. So he saw he saw the extent of what was coming towards Earth.
Yeah, I think that Tony has spent so much of his life, deflecting and deflecting and deflecting, that he finally is able to feel something, and it freaks him out.
I mean, he learned in Iron Man 2 that he couldn't beat someone on his own.
Yeah.
Without Rhodey, Tony Stark would have died in the Stark Expo. Without Rhodey.
Yeah, and I guess in this movie he would have died if, Pepper Potts didn't step in at the end. But
we don't need to, jump the gun or anything, but, he doesn't have his suit throughout that entire battle sequence.
No.
Yeah.
He's literally fighting without his suit. He's using his suit to get across to save Pepper. So he's destroying his own suits to save the one person that he truly loves.
Which, frankly, up until this project, I kind of, the Avengers didn't really have that much weight as far as the greater MCU. Mm-hmm. But it really does have so much character development for Tony specifically. The amount of character development from the beginning of the Avengers to now is tremendous. And it was all due to that one single call out from Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And it really stuck in his brain. And I thought that was really interesting. So then we go to Grauman's Chinese Theater, which is basically, I've never been to LA, but I know enough about this place that it's basically where all of the Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremonies happen, where all the celebrities get their hands and feet in the whatever.
Interesting fact about there, actually. So, at the attack, holds a special significance as firepower. One of the extremists is actually sitting next to the handprint and signature of Robert Downey Jr.
That's cool.
That's cool.
I was trying to see, there's that extended shot of when Happy gets hurt at this whole thing. There's an extended shot of his face lying on the ground, and he's surrounded by handprints and footprints. I was trying to look out to see if I could pick anybody out to try to
I think they blurred.
But I couldn't see. I couldn't get a good enough look.
I think they blurred a lot of them out because they would have to pay.
What exactly is happening in this scene?
So one of the extremists. So there's glitches in the extremists, as we saw with the plant and the other explosions. He was starting to glitch.
They're basically like mutants, right?
Genetically... no, mutant... Yes and no. Mutants are naturally born. Like Wolverine, Deadpool, Professor X, Magneto are born that way. They're genetically modified.
Yeah.
Kind of like Captain America.
Plant is basically, essentially a different type of super serum.
Yes. For a while was trying to recreate the super serum to create their own soldiers.
Well, because basically this was all, well, not exactly this, but it was after Thor came into the picture, weren't they trying to figure out how, how can we defeat Thor or something, if he's a potential threat?
This was originally crafted
in 99.
No, to help people regrow limbs.
Yes.
Like a lizard.
I mean, Maya was working on the Extremis in 99, as we saw with the plan in Switzerland.
Yeah.
So Extremis originally was to help wounded soldiers.
Yeah.
To regrow limbs and things like that.
Yeah.
Which
I just think eventually the motive changed.
Yes.
Over
the motive
time,
changed when...
As it always does.
When
or
whatever his name is, Swarmy Dude, got
was
stood
it
up...
Aldrich
got stood up by Tony Stark is when he turned evil and decided to help Maya, essentially.
I've heard of the Mandarin. I've heard the name the Mandarin. I never understood what it meant.
The Mandarin is technically the leader of the group that kidnapped Tony Stark in the first
The Ten Rings?
Yes.
Yeah, which I thought it was interesting, too. It's like... And I think they only really do it in the Iron Man movies, but it's like they're playing on the hysteria from, like, the effects of 9/11 happening, like, in real life. And they're if we put a terrorist on the screen, everyone's going to assume, like...
Well, because this was before ISIS, correct? I mean, I know ISIS existed, but, like,
ISIS
before...
was a thing in...
Again, we don't need to get into politics. This is not what this is about.
Yeah.
But like this movie was made before like the hysteria around ISIS and those types of videos were viral.
But
so I feel like that's what it reminded me of, those like propaganda films.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, if that happened today, where if you put like a Mandarin on the screen, like everybody would be reacting the same way.
I mean, there is a real Mandarin. We just haven't seen him yet.
Yeah. I just thought it was an interesting concept that's...
An interesting thing about the rings that the Mandarin is wearing, one of them is Raza's ring from Iron Man 1. Do you remember who Raza is?
The bald guy. Yeah, I mean, I know that there's a future film, Shang-Chi, that has something to do with the Ten Rings, right? Because it's in the title.
The real Ten Rings.
I was like, is that connected?
Again, I have no knowledge. I just know these things exist.
So I don't want to spoil too much. The Mandarin, everyone is copying him, that Mandarin. When they do the Mandarin or anything like that in any of the movies.
Well, kind of going back to Megan's point, though, is that it is capitalizing on this hysteria.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 100% it is capitalizing on it.
Because they all know that it's this big scary guy, and like, so they're trying, but nobody knows who he is.
No.
However, I do really like.
Yeah.
What is his name? Trevor.
Yes.
Yeah, Trevor. It's like the most basic name. No offense to any
white
Trevors
boy
out there,
name.
but
It is so funny. Like
just that
those
entire scene.
And, like, the girls in the bikinis, and they're just casually playing ping pong and, like, getting drunk, and, like...
Yeah.
It's just, like, it's so weird. Yeah, no, that was a weird touch to this movie, because this movie, like, deals with some pretty serious stuff with, like, PTSD, and then it just, like, goes into left field.
I mean, the funniest is still Harley and Tony talking about where his parents are.
Oh my god, I love that.
It's still the funniest scene in the movie.
We haven't gotten there yet. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Then Tony goes back to his house, and he, like, has this hologram of the Chinese theater. Happy gets hurt and put in a coma, and is obsessed with watching Downton Abbey, which is very of its time.
But funny thing is, it's because the actor is actually a fan of
Jon Favreau is a big Downton Abbey fan.
Yeah.
I haven't caught up on that show. I thought that was it's a good show if you like that kind of thing. They had to pay the actress who is in the scene that is showing when he wakes up, because she speaks in that scene. So this movie had to pay her, even though it's just a clip from Downton Abbey.
I think it was filmed in May that year. No.
Anyway, Tony has this big hologram of what happened, the explosion and everything, and I thought, wow, they could really use that to solve actual crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of crime shows, and I feel like if they had that technology, I feel like they should, in real life, make that technology to help crime scene investigators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just interesting, too, because then it goes back to, like, how advanced, like, the technology is getting throughout the movies. Like, it all started with him and his arc reactor, and it's just developed from there.
Yeah, I know.
Which leads me to believe, okay, I know that it's special effects. I'm fully aware of that. But, like, if we can imagine this kind of technology, why doesn't it not exist?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it does, and we just don't know about it. I have no idea.
There are times like that.
There's like interactive exhibits where you can see like it's almost like a touch screen, but like in the air.
That's the closest that we will probably
or like
be close.
I don't know if you guys have ever been to our movie theater when I was growing up had like this big touchscreen on the floor, and it was like a bunch of fish, and like it was like a bunch of fish, and like kids would like run around and the fish would like run away from your feet basically, and it was like a projection on the ground.
That's pretty much the closest.
It's a really bad way of explaining it, but like I'm surprised that like they haven't created a real world equivalent to this.
That would be the closest to what Tony Stark can do is with like the sand. It's the closest right now that civilians have access to. They probably have stuff in the military that's closer, but not exact.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, I mean...
extremist people, like, are in helicopters and they shoot missiles at their LA home, and I wrote down, R.I.P. robot.
Oh, I literally wrote down, I was like, Tony, I hope you have house insurance.
They're filthy rich, though.
I was like, I'm sure it wouldn't even blink an eye.
I doubt anyone would give him health insurance. Shoot.
Stark Industries has their own house.
He gave up CEO.
So, for, when the house got destroyed, and you saw, like, the suits blowing up, like, the suits, like, I hate to skip, but, like, to the end when they all, like, appear, like, did they come from the house, or did they come from somewhere else?
No, so... the 4 suits you saw blow up were Marks 1 through 4, which was the cave suit.
Those are more for, like, memories.
Yeah. The 1 through 4 were the ones that got blew up.
As if he didn't have enough trauma in relation
5 through 42 or whatever was underground, like, in the mountainside.
Oh, okay, because I was just assuming, like, all his suits got destroyed, but
no, it was
good
just
to know
4.
he had a back supply.
It was just 4 suits. It was just Marks 1 through 4, or technically 1 through 5, since Mark 2 got stolen by Rhodey and turned into the Iron Patriot.
I still think War Machine's a better name.
So, following up on the Iron Patriot, I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, but is this, like, the only movie where they reference the Iron Patriot? Because I feel like after this, he's really just back to War Machine.
So, Iron Patriot, they changed it because it felt nicer.
There was something about how the government wanted to own Captain America or something like that. It was their version of Captain America.
Vaguely, but War Machine or...
because the colors are very similar.
It's red, white, and blue.
I know, but like the patterning even is very similar to Captain America's outfit.
So in the comics, this is actually... so Iron Patriot is when Norman Osborn... it has its own Iron Man suit.
Green Goblin.
Yeah. Green Goblin had an Iron Man suit in some of his comics where he was called the Iron Patriot.
I just think Iron Patriot's a dumb name.
It is a dumb name.
Yeah.
It's very much the government trying to, like, have, like...
their own copy of Tony Stark.
Yeah, I was like, we already have an Iron Man. You don't need an Iron Patriot.
Which, apparently, it did well in focus groups.
Okay.
What focus groups?
No, that's a line in the movie.
I know, but what focus groups? He flies up to, like, he explodes the helicopters and tries to, like, and whatever. And then his suit kind of malfunctions.
And just sends him flying.
And he already previously had said to Jarvis, like, he needed to craft a flight plan to...
no, so he was trapped underwater.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He was trapped underwater.
It's been a couple of days, couple long days.
His suit, Jarvis sent him, because literally they set the flight plan to Tennessee.
Because it was that they were looking for the source of that explosion.
Yeah.
And so they end up in Tennessee, and he ends up in this shed with this kid, Harley, that we already mentioned. And we were laughing hysterically at the banter with this kid. His
mom was at the diner, and his dad went to get lottery tickets 6 years ago, and apparently he
scratch it tickets, and he's like, I guess he won because he didn't come back.
Yeah. Like, that's a sad thing to laugh at, but it's hilarious.
This kid's line delivery is insane. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, This kid's going places. I don't know if he was...
We actually see him again.
Okay, good. Good for him. Make your money, kid.
You've seen him again, right, Meagan?
Yes, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Which no one realized until, like, the credits.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
I was like, no spoilers here.
No spoilers here, even though I've talked about stuff that happens.
It's okay. I know, like, I know Jarvis becomes Vision, so, like, I know things I shouldn't know, but, I feel like I'm jumping ahead when I say, like, I immediately knew that this Aldrich guy was sketchy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, especially, like, after he went and visited with Pepper, and then, like, when he's going to leave, he, like, kisses her on the cheek. I was like, ew, creepy vibes. I didn't like that at all. I was like, I'm uncomfortable. Like, he is not a good guy.
So then it's revealed that the original purpose of Extremis was to, like we already kind of touched on, was to help people with missing limbs and war veterans and all that stuff.
Until AIM took it over. And
there's a reveal that the vice president needs it for his daughter. Who, fun fact, the daughter of the vice president is played by the girl that is in the new Scream movie.
Tara.
Oh, which girl?
Tara.
The little sister of the main girl.
The first chick that got attacked.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This was her first movie.
Oh, that's interesting.
In the first movie she played someone with a leg that was not there.
She looks really young in this movie.
I mean, this is also...
I'm aware. I forget how long 2013 was.
Yeah.
She was 6 at this time.
She looked older than 6, but...
Maybe 7. But, do you want to guess which other Marvel character auditioned for the Mandarin, Meagan?
Marvel actor?
Other Marvel actor?
Yeah. He hasn't been introduced yet in the movies.
Oh.
So he's introduced starting...
Yeah, I have no idea.
Anthony Mackie.
Mackie.
Falcon.
Oh.
Falcon actually auditioned for the Mandarin.
Oh. Well, he's definitely better used as the Falcon.
Yes, absolutely. But I don't think the Mandarin would have been as comical if he was the Anthony.
Yeah.
He would have been a lot more, not serious, but a lot more, deadpanned, would you say?
Are we talking about, like, Trevor?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the character of the Falcon, but that actor...
Anthony Mackie.
Because
he was in 8 Mile.
Trevor as a character, because he's played by Ben Kingsley, who
is funny.
Who, yes, plays some serious characters. I mean, he literally played Gandhi, which is a very strange casting, but he played Gandhi, so he's played a wide range of things, but, like, I think his line delivery was very specific, and I think a different actor would have been odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't have too much of comedic actor or else they would have been out of place.
Yeah. But it needed to be someone who could be serious, but also...
Because
he's also a stage performer.
Yeah. Frankly, before the reveal, like, he was kind of terrifying.
Until you talk to him.
So they go to Air Force One. The president's plane.
Yeah.
And they have to try to save the president, which I feel like is a whole other movie in and of itself, but whatever. I really loved the scene where Tony is saving all the flight attendants. Like, he calls it Barrel really cool. of Monkeys. He's like, remember the game Barrel of Monkeys? An
interesting thing, actually, about the whole sequence. Or before Iron Man saves everyone, when Iron Patriot, which is the extremist dude, goes in, technically in military, you're supposed to, like, if you have a hat on or something, you're supposed to, like, take the hat off and salute.
To the president.
To the president. But you saw that War Machine, or Iron Patriot, didn't. So you knew something was wrong at that point. Because in every other time, he also wasn't talking.
Interesting, too, like, when the Iron Patriot started, like, shooting his gun in, like, the Air Force One plane, you see, like, a bullet penetrated the window, and I'm pretty sure that Air Force One is actually bulletproof.
I think so.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was, like, a mistake on the movie's part, or...
Maybe.
I think it was just trying to make it more cinematic.
I don't want to look up, is Air Force One bulletproof?
Yeah,
I don't want you to be on like some kind of watch list.
Because I was about to type that in.
Your FBI agent will be checking in on you shortly.
Sorry about the FBI listening to this. We're not, I promise, we're talking about a movie. But yeah, no, I really loved that scene. I thought it was really tense, but also funny at the same time. Like, I feel like the Iron Man movies are really good at doing. I feel like Tony Stark is really, really good about keeping the balance of tense but funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then they're all falling out of the sky, and then at the end, he's just, like, in the van. He's like, yeah, they're all okay. Like, he wasn't even, like, a part of that intense moment. He's just...
No, he was just in the van.
Like, it's high stakes. And that's, like, really what I have really enjoyed about the Iron Man specifically is that, yeah, it's high stakes, but it keeps your interest. But it's also not too intense. Like, I almost felt... Like, one of the reasons why I didn't like Thor was because everything was taken so seriously. I really love how much they balance it in the Iron Mans specifically.
Yeah,
I think they do a really good job of doing that. They basically go to this, what is it? It's like a barge or like an oil something. Like, where are they at this climax scene?
It's called the Elephant Graveyard. It's where giant ships go to retire. Because the ship that they were on was the one that Roxxon spilled all the oil when the one that the dude that the Mandarin killed on TV.
So they basically have the president strung up in the Iron Patriot outfit, suit, whatever, and he's hanging over something, the water, something,
or the ship or something.
And so they need to save him, and there's all these extremists. People, bodyguards, henchmen, whatever.
All military people.
And I love that Tony calls in all of his suits. And I love that they all have names.
The house party.
Yeah.
The house party protocol.
I know, that was a cool moment for sure to watch all the suits show up.
I love all of their names, too. It's like Red Snapper and Blue Steel, a.k.a. Zoolander.
Yeah. The suits
shades
are recolored or combinations, and there's 3 or 4 suits that weren't shown because the director thought they were redundant for it. Like, there was one that had hammers on his hands and saw blades, and the director thought those would have been too violent to show. And there was another one...
I just find it funny that it's a real testament to Tony Stark's sense of humor that he names them all.
So, in regards to Iron Man's suits, I guess I assumed, and maybe this is how it started out initially, that the suit was powered by the arc reactor.
Yes.
But in this movie, obviously, they were talking about how it's powered by electricity. I was just wondering at what...
So, the arc reactor does make electricity. He can control all of his suits from, do you remember at the beginning of the movie when he put in those, like, FRID chip things into his arms?
Yes.
Those are powered by the arc reactor. That's in him.
Yeah, I literally have a note here. I was like, did he just put a microchip in his arm? ?
Multiple times. Yeah, so...
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's what he
was... That's how unobservant I am.
No, that's what he was injecting, like, giving him the shots of.
Oh,
at the beginning of the movie. So he was doing that so that he could control the suits from away.
Oh, so he can recall them from, what did they say, like 832 miles or something?
No, that's how far he was away from Tennessee when he was in Miami to his suit in Tennessee. Is 830 something miles.
Yeah.
That's why
it makes you curious how far, like, the recall is. If obviously it can do it from that distance, it could probably go longer too.
I mean, they were in Miami, and he called all the suits from LA.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But, like, okay, are they flying at the height like an airplane would fly? Because, like,
yes.
Think about, like, you're just, you know, la-di-da, walking your dog down the street, and, like, you just see, like, a random hunk of metal flying through the sky.
But also remember, they
like 20 suits, like, flying through the sky.
But they can also go
like,
at speeds like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 speeds. Like, they can...
I know, I just think it would be funny to watch, like, I think it would have been a funny shot to just see, like, people on the street minding their own business.
And you just see
just, like, looking
shoots
up
go by.
Or would they just assume it's a plane? I wrote down, finally, Pepper Potts is useful.
Yeah.
Finally, yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't think anybody is, like, a massive Pepper Potts stan.
No, not really. Like, I think I put it in my notes, like, 2 or 3 times. I'm like, Pepper, yelling at Tony won't help him.
Yeah.
I mean, so the suit that she was wearing is actually her own suit. It's called the rescue suit.
Nothing grinds my gears more in movies like this, like, female characters, specifically love interests, that don't do anything.
Yeah, like a damsel in distress.
That's the thing with
and I'm
this
like,
one.
I'm okay. Usually I'm okay with damsel in distress because they serve a purpose.
Yeah.
What drives me crazy is when that's all they are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So,
and then
that's the thing.
when they're like, you're going to have to save either Pepper or the president. I was like, well, save the president. Like, what?
Yeah.
Screw you, Pepper.
But yeah, so the director didn't want to do a damsel in distress for Pepper Potts.
Yeah.
So that's why most of the movie you were like, is she a damsel in distress?
Well,
or is
Kevin
she...
Feige literally said,
Yeah.
and I quote, "We are bored by the damsel in distress, but
Yeah.
sometimes we need our hero to be desperate enough in fighting for something other than just his own life. So there is fun to be had with this." Quote, "Is Pepper in danger or is she a savior?" I do like that she's slightly more useful in this movie than she has been.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah, when she, like, fell to, like, into the fire, I was kind of like, meh, okay.
I was like, I'm okay with
it
this.
was like a no.
I kind of hated that she got the extremists in her.
It's because they were trying to have Tony fix it.
No, I don't love that I wish that somebody in this movie was normal.
What do you mean?
Like somebody working directly with the Avengers. I wish that, like, because most of them are at least somewhat super in a way, and I like that, like, Thor's, like, Natalie Portman's character is a normal girl. Agent Carter is a normal person.
Well, I guess Black Widow, I mean, she has, like, the fighting ability,
But she was also trained from birth in the Red Room.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's normal upbringing.
And Hawkeye was trained by a traveling circus.
I
Well, I guess you have Happy. He's just a security guard.
Happy is useless. Don't even.
Speaking of Happy, he wakes up, which is a good thing. I kind of figured that he would, because that's just like a conclusion of the movie kind of thing to do, is have the person that was hurt in the beginning be okay.
Yeah.
I do love, however, jumping back to the climax, I do love that he basically makes the suits turn into fireworks.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought that was really funny.
House cleaning protocol or something like that.
Clean slate.
Clean slate. The clean slate protocol. Because it shows that he has given up his suits for Pepper.
He did not really give up his suits.
No, he...
Yeah, I was like,
but at the
essentially
time he
not,
did.
but for the day, you know.
That's like you giving up your Xbox for me.
No,
that's
but
not
he
going to
also
happen.
got the arc reactor taken out of him. He doesn't have the arc reactor.
Yeah, well, I was
anymore.
going to touch on that next. He gets his arc reactor taken out.
So he technically can't power any of his suits.
Well, like she said, they are powered by electricity. It's been proven.
He can control them, so kind of... I mean, the arc reactor makes electricity. That's how the suits are powered, is through the essentially the nanotech in his arms.
So then
They serve the purpose of the arc
the
reactor?
Iron Patriot then, does Tony not control it?
No. The Iron Patriot was modified. If you remember, it was Iron Patriot he made for Rhodey.
Like, specifically for him? Or
Well,
just
originally,
because
Rhodey,
basically
stole
the
it.
president was
Originally,
able to
Rhodey
be in
stole
it,
it.
and the bad guy was able to be in
But
the
he
suit
made
as
that
well. I
suit
just
to be
assumed it was
used.
tailored to...
He made that suit to be used without an arc reactor.
Oh, okay.
I have a feeling, and this
Because-
is just my own, like, interpretation of, because obviously we know that there are other Avengers movies, like, there's no more Iron Man specific movies, but there's
Yeah.
more Avengers movies, so
Yeah.
clearly there's more Iron Man. This
Yeah.
is just my prediction going forward, is that he's gonna make his suits be able to be powered, obviously not by the arc reactor anymore.
Yeah, now that he's removed it also
They
from
technically
himself.
still are powered by an arc reactor, but he has made a mobile arc reactor that he can just put in suits.
That seems wildly convenient.
No, he literally just took the arc reactor that was in him and he just put them in his suits. He just
So
built
it's
them
kind
in.
of like a portable battery that you take
Yes.
around Disneyland.
Yes. That you have to have at Disneyland. Yes.
Like,
Nice.
But I mean, you saw that suit in like Civil War. You saw the suits that when he didn't have the arc reactor in him, and same thing in Endgame.
then we kind of get like the conclusion of the movie. Happy wakes up. There's a flash to Harley, and he gets his own little robot.
He gets his own robot. He gets his own like Iron Man shop.
It's so cute, and also I love throughout this that he's almost like a little mini Tony Stark in training.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really sweet. Like how he is like he's talking to Harley over the phone, trying to get it to like power up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing still, which we forgot to cover, when Harley and Tony were talking, when Tony got into the car, he's like, "You're leaving me too, just like your dad." And he's like, "Yep," and he just drives off.
Oh, that was so funny.
Also, we didn't really touch on like them being in Tennessee as a whole, but like there's a scene where they go into the bar, which by the way, apparently it was made, that bar, it was that set was made from like a church building.
Mm-hmm.
They made it into a bar. Like it's actually filmed in North Carolina that they like made anyway, not important. But the woman that they talk to, that's like the guy's mom, the guy that exploded's mom.
Mm-hmm.
That woman plays the same character in freaking everything. Like,
Yeah.
like she is that type of character, like the sad, down on her luck mom.
Yeah.
In everything.
Her niche.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea what her name is. To be fair, I don't really care to look it up.
Yeah.
But I swear she is the same role in freaking everything.
All three villains in the Iron Man movies are all Academy Award winners.
Yeah. So Jeff Bridges is Obadiah, Sam Rockwell in
Iron Man 2,
and then this one is
Ben Kingsley, who was the Mandarin
who is
in
Trevor.
Is the girl in this movie considered like a bad?
No, because
Maya?
Villain?
No, I wouldn't say Maya.
The brunette, not the redhead.
No, Maya. The
Yeah,
one that
the
made me
brunette.
famous.
The brunette.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
brunette. I wouldn't
she-
say she was. Originally, she was just trying to get Tony to help her.
Well, it was strange. I was like, why go to all the effort to like kidnap Pepper just to turn around when Tony's tied up to be like, oh, like I'm gonna inject myself with this stuff if you like don't let him go. I was like, but why put all the effort into kidnapping everybody?
Because originally she didn't want to kidnap her. It was Aldrich that ended up hurting Pepper and kidnapping her because she was just doing what he said because he technically pays her.
Yeah, I realized we didn't talk about those scenes at all.
Yeah. We did a little. Yeah.
They're not like super important to.
I just love his countdown.
What countdown?
When he was just waiting for his suits to get to him.
Oh,
When he was just
yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah, he's like, no.
now. Okay,
You
5.
better get ready, because now.
Now.
So there's a scene where where I think, it's Rhodey and Tony are sitting in a bar in Miami, and a little boy, like, kids come up to him.
Or LA.
They're sitting in LA in a bar or a restaurant or something, and the kids come up to him, and there's a little boy with glasses, and he tells him that he loves him in A Christmas Story. Mm-hmm. That kid, the kid who played Ralphie, the kid with glasses that sticks his tongue to a telephone pole, was an executive producer in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Or I thought it was Iron Man 1.
Oh, no, it is Iron Man 1.
He
Sorry.
was the executive producer in Iron Man 1.
And played a small background role.
Robert Downey Jr. is actually the only character to show up in all 3 of the first movies of each phase.
That's cool.
Because he started with Iron Man 1, with Phase 1. Iron Man 3 started Phase 2, and Captain America Civil War started Phase 3, which he was in.
Yeah. So, kind of going back to, like, if you want to expound on this, Matthew, the president is named President Ellis.
Yes.
Which is named after the comic book writer who wrote the Extremis storyline in the comics. Yes. Do you want to kind of talk about that?
So, the 3 main Extremis people that we see, the bald head dude, the chick...
Slavin.
I
kept hearing his name be 7, like the number.
Yeah. So, the movie incorporates several different storylines from Iron Man comics. The Extremis arc, which involves Tony developing and using the Extremis virus, a nanotech version of Captain America's serum. So in the comics, he made Extremis as Captain America's serum, kind of like how Bruce Banner put too much gamma in it, which turned him into the Hulk. Iron Man used nanotechs instead of an actual serum.
So while we're touching on, like, the serums and stuff, so obviously the gamma for the Hulk, he becomes the Hulk, his clothes, like, rip. So when what are they called, the extremists?
Yes.
That serum, like, their clothes don't burn off, but, like, they're literally able to melt metal into liquid, but, like, their clothes are perfectly intact.
We call that a continuity error.
We call it, I don't know. It's magic.
I was like, how? And then Pepper, at, like, the end of the movie, she literally falls into, like, a fire, and she still is perfectly fine. Like,
and her clothes are
obviously, like, the genetics regenerate. Well, that's the point of, like, the serum. Really, but her clothes are still, like, perfectly fine.
I think what it comes down to is the movie was PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
We couldn't just have naked people running around.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you, but yeah, I do love that that Miami backwards is I'm AIM.
Yeah.
Like the company that, what is his name? Killian?
Yeah,
which
AIM or whatever.
Why Killian chose
Which every time
Miami.
they said AIM, especially when it was flashback to the 90s, I immediately thought of AOL Instant Messenger. Megan's probably too young for that.
I was like, I don't know. I mean, I know of it. I just I haven't had to use it before.
Idea mechanics.
Isn't it basically like an email? Like an email,
like an IM.
Chatting, social media type of...
It's the you got mail.
No, like AIM.
I know my millennial Gen Z is showing.
It's instant messenger. It's because we don't really, as we all text nowadays, we don't really do instant messenger anymore in the same way, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all of my notes. Do you have anything else to add, Megan?
That's pretty much all of mine too. I guess the only thing I had in here was so when Tony goes to the store and he's just like buying like chemicals, which like I was like, I hope that clerk was like really looking at who they were like selling all this like stuff to. I was like, that could have been a potential murderer.
Having worked I've never worked in a hardware store, I will say that, but like having worked in various different retail things, you start looking out at like the combinations of things people are buying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what was this worker just like, I just need to get through the day? Because I'm sorry, if you saw this giant cart, actually, I think he had 2 carts worth of random things. Do you think this guy was building a bomb? Also, this also leads to another question is, you can build an Iron Man suit with just stuff you get at Home Depot?
I'm like, sign me up.
No, so...
I barely know how to put IKEA furniture together, so...
Yeah, I need, like, the instruction manual.
But, like, I thought that was really funny, and, I get that, like, he was kind of desperate at that point.
Yeah.
I do love that little montage where he's trying to, like, knock out all of the hench guys, and he throws, like, a Christmas ornament bomb.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, he has all of these little... But that also goes back to the original point, though, is, like...
He can make anything
He literally made weapons. And Home Depot didn't even, like, ring an alarm.
No, but... I mean, they were random stuff, though.
He literally built a tiny bomb.
Yeah.
But, so this movie, the reason why in the final scene Iron Man wasn't in his suit was because the director wanted, like, a 1v1 fight.
I do really actually like that
He wasn't in a suit long.
He's not in his suit, and it really... Because I feel like Tony Stark leans on his suits a little too much. And yes, he still did. In a way.
But, I mean, he didn't really wear his suits at all,
but
besides
it actually
for maybe
shows,
a quarter of the movie.
Frankly, I think it shows Tony's prowess because he didn't need to rely on him being in the suit.
He literally took on a super-powered dude without a suit.
Because up until this point, I was like, okay, so he's a rich dude with a metal suit. Like, without his suit, does he actually contribute? And
yeah, you're not going to see Batman going out without his suit, but that's also because he has to hide his face.
But also, okay, you look
would he
at,
really
like,
go without his gadgets? No.
I live at 10888 Malibu Lane.
Yeah.
Come and get me.
I literally have in my notes, I was like, oh, Tony, don't give out your address.
Okay, this is my beef with that, though. So this is 2013, right? There's a thing in that area, in the Hollywood Hills, that is well established that if you are any kind of well-known name, people know where you live.
Yeah.
People drive past your house all the damn time.
But he also lives, like, on a cliff.
But no, overall, like, I really liked this movie. So, like, I've really enjoyed the Iron Mans specifically.
Yeah, so this was actually the only one that was produced by Paramount and Disney Plus at the same time.
Yeah, this was a little confusing. We were trying to make heads or tails of, like, who produced this movie.
Disney bought the selling rights from Paramount. This deal also included the Avengers. However, as the Avengers, under the condition of the deal, Paramount Pictures would have their studio logo appear and not Disney.
So it's owned by Paramount, but distributed by Disney.
Because Disney technically bought the rights, but the movie was already being made by Paramount at the time. So Paramount already spent all of this money on making it.
I do know that they increased the budget for this movie significantly after the success of the Avengers.
Yeah. Originally it was like $115 million or something like that.
Wow.
But, like, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I don't know if I like it more than the other Iron Mans, but I like it.
I still like Iron Man 1.
I like it about the same. Yeah. I feel like. I don't really have notes as far as, like, filmmaking, because frankly, this is a very well done movie. Like, technical wise.
Yeah.
Like, I know I had beef with Kenneth Branagh over his millions of Dutch angles, but I don't really have thoughts on that aspect of things. I thought this was a pretty well made movie.
Yeah.
Structurally, it didn't really it kept my interest.
It is actually the only Iron Man movie not to feature any AC/DC songs. There was no...
Which is weird, because that's, like, Iron Man's, like, anthem.
That's a Black Sabbath song, I thought. Is the I Am Iron Man?
Yeah, but he
no, but it's the Back in Black, right? That's, like, his...
Yeah, Back in Black was a big one in Iron Man 1.
Oh, the Back in Black! That one?
Yeah.
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 hire me, AC/DC.
Yeah. Don't quit your day job.
I don't have one.
But Iron Man 3 is actually the 50th anniversary of Iron Man.
Oh, I also thought it was really funny that that it was taking place in Chattanooga, and supposedly, like, in certain scenes they were, like, talking about how the internet speeds were bad. But, like, Chattanooga historically has the fastest internet speeds in the world.
Yeah.
Which, if you're not aware, Matthew works in internet. So we won't get into that just for privacy reasons, but, like, he works with internet every single day. So it's just, like, especially funny. But yeah, what did you think overall, Megan? Where does this movie stack up for you as far as, like, your favorite movies?
You know, out of all the Iron Man movies, I mean, granted, they're all great. This one is probably my second favorite. The first one's my favorite out of all the Iron Man movies. I don't think Iron Man stacks very high overall, just because the movies that are coming out now are more, like, theatrical than these original movies. But it's still a great movie because all the Avenger movies, for the most part, besides, like, the second Thor and a couple other movies. But, yeah, for the most part, they're all great, so.
Honestly, I think this one is... Iron Man 3 is tied with the first Iron Man and the Avengers for me. At least from what I have seen so far.
Yeah, that's fair. I was like, they're all really good movies. It's hard to even, like, try to rank them.
Truthfully, the only one that I didn't like so far is Thor. I thought it was boring.
Yeah, like, the first one's okay. I won't lie to you, the second one's not that good.
Yeah.
Third one's great.
Third one is hilarious.
Third one's my favorite, for sure, out of the whole series.
I love Jeff Goldblum, so I'm sure I will enjoy it.
Dude,
yeah, it'll be a good one.
And Thor Ragnarok are my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ragnarok's probably, like, a top 5 favorite movie out of, like, the whole series.
I'm excited to get... Okay, so next episode will be Thor Dark World, and thank you for joining us, Megan, for this episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see y'all next week, and hope y'all have a good week. Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to send us any feedback, you can follow us on Instagram at thefanclub_podcast or Twitter at fanclub_podcast. You can also discuss each episode with us on our subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/thefanclubpodcast. And make sure you tune in every Marvel Monday.